What's going on, guys? Ryan O'Toole back here again, giving you guys another top 10 list. Top 10 movie sequels I wish we got. Now, let me clarify really quickly what I mean by that. I'm not speaking for everybody else. I'm just speaking for myself personally. This is a subjective list. These are movie sequels I want to see happen. These are movie sequels I wish we got. Before we get to the video though, if you guys are new here, feel free to click that subscribe button and that bell notification icon for more reviews, reactions, rankings, and more movie content. That's why I want you guys to get down below in the comment section and let me know your top 10 movie sequels you wish you got. I have 5 honorable mentions before we get into the top 10 list, and my first honorable mention is a Jason Bourne 6. Now, the recent Jason Bourne movie with Matt Damon that came out in 2016 was for sure a disappointing movie altogether. Paul Greengrass was directing the film. He directed the best Bourne films by far. But that movie was a massive disappointment. It wasn't the best film ever, and it didn't do much in the box office, and I want to see a sequel, another Matt Damon Bourne movie to close out the franchise. Next, I have a Terminator Dark Fate sequel. Now, the recent Terminator Dark Fate movie polarized audiences around the world. A lot of people defended it. A lot of people hated the movie altogether because of some decisions that were made in the film. As of recent news, Paramount has already planned a new Terminator trilogy, and after the recent box office bombing that this movie did, those plans are thrown out the window, and we're not getting it. Now, I would have wanted a Terminator Dark Fate sequel because I did enjoy the movie for what it was. Would have loved to see Linda Hamilton return once again in Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then we got Dredd starring Karl Urban. I think fans have been demanding this sequel for like years. It came out in 2012. They loved the first Dredd movie. I did personally. Karl Urban was really great as Judge Dredd. But the box office only making $41.5 million at the box office, that is very disappointing, and it's very obvious why a sequel hasn't been made for this movie. And then we got a Hellboy 3 directed by Guillermo del Toro and Ron Perlman back as the character of Hellboy after the awfulness of the David Harbour Hellboy reboot that came out in 2019. I think fans want to see Ron Perlman back as the character and Del Toro in the director's chair. There's just been no talks at all of this happening. Del Toro went to Twitter saying the sequel is definitely not happening, and Ron Perlman himself wants to come back, but it's just not gonna happen. Then we have Man of Steel 2. Now, Man of Steel, just like any other film, has been very divisive. There are fans who are defending Man of Steel like me. I love Man of Steel. It's one of my favorites in the DC universe so far, and this movie was so good I wanted to see a sequel happen. But there were later reports that Christopher McQuarrie was going to direct the sequel, and Matthew Vaughn as well, but they both stepped out. Zack Snyder wasn't returning, and there's just been many pitch meetings about a Man of Steel sequel. This Man of Steel sequel isn't happening now, and it's very disappointing because I love Man of Steel, want to see more from the character. Henry Cavill plays Superman again, but because of all of this new news coming out, it seems like it's not going to happen, which is a shame. And my last honorable mention is Step Brothers 2. Now, I love the first Step Brothers movie, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly. That comedy was so hilarious. Adam McKay directed it. And there have been many speculations about a sequel happening, but in 2017, Will Ferrell said it's not happening. And it is very disappointing, but with the recent trends of comedy sequels, they end up not being good. Those were my honorable mentions. Now let's go to the top 10 list. Coming in at number 10 is an Iron Giant sequel. Now, the first Iron Giant is one of my favorite animated movies of all time, with Brad Bird at the director's chair. That film was a box office failure. Like, nobody went to go see that movie back in the late 90s. And now, 20 years later, it's become an animated icon, pop culture. Everybody loves this movie. Because of its box office failure, it's just had no sequel pitches and nobody even talking about it, because back in the day it did really bad. Nobody saw the film, and now 20 years later, if this film came out at the time, this time, there could be talks of sequels, but now it's not even happening or not even talked about. Coming in number 9 is going to be a Joker sequel. Now, last year when Joker came out, it had a lot of controversy. A lot of people had divisive opinions about it. A lot of people thought it was inspiring or glorifying violence. And it did nothing like that in my personal opinion. I thought Joker was a fantastic film, and Joaquin Phoenix and Hilder's scores absolutely deserve their Oscars. I know by the time this film was getting made, Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix both said that this film wasn't even made to make a sequel. It was just a one and done film. That's about it. Wouldn't it be awesome if Robert Pattinson's Batman and Joaquin Phoenix Joker were on screen together? That's just a dream altogether. That would be awesome. And that's really the only way I could see a sequel happening, is if you bring Batman into the sequel. Coming in at number 8 is going to be a Mad Max Fury Road sequel, or Mad Max 5. What a day! What a lovely day! Mad Max Fury Road was one of my favorite films of 2015. What a huge surprise that film was. That was easily one of the best action movies I have seen over the past years, this last decade. That movie was so good. And many fans have been demanding a Mad Max Fury Road sequel, or Mad Max 5. I don't care if you do a Furiosa Charlize Theron Mad Max movie. I just want to see this happen. Or Tom Hardy is too busy doing Venom or other projects. Like, I definitely want to see this sequel. At the number 7 spot is going to be an Alita Battle Angel sequel. Now, Alita Battle Angel was such a surprise film when it came out in 2019. After all the release date pushbacks, like, we didn't know what this movie was going to be. James Cameron was behind it, and Robert Rodriguez was the director. And that film was surprisingly good. I loved Alita Battle Angel. It was definitely one of the best action films I've seen in a while. And a sequel was in leading up to, because the end of that film was teasing a sequel with a certain character. And there have been talks about an Alita Battle Angel sequel. Coming in at number 6 is going to be an Elf sequel. Now, Elf is possibly my favorite Christmas movie to watch every single year. It's a staple for my family to watch this movie every Christmas. It's so funny, such a great comedy, Christmas classic, and Will Ferrell as Buddy the Elf, another Will Ferrell comedy in this overall video. Jon Favreau, the director himself, has always been open to the idea of possibly doing a sequel if the story fits, and same as Will Ferrell, but years and years after, there's just hasn't been no discussion or no development news about it, which seems like it may be for the best. If they can't come up with a good story, then why do a sequel? But it's just something that's always been in my mind, because the first film was such a classic. Top 5. Coming in number 5 is The Nice Guys sequel. The Nice Guys was one of my favorite films of 2016. Shane Black, Ryan Gosling, Russell Crowe as two detectives. And the reasons why this film didn't make as much money, with only making $62 million at the worldwide box office, next to Captain America Civil War and other blockbusters, and Batman v Superman, say that, the film was not seen by audiences. Nobody saw this movie back in the day. What is wrong with you guys? This film was so good. It's such a great original comedy. Shane Black, the director himself, has always been open to the idea of a sequel, but because this movie did horrible at the box office, nobody saw it. They're not gonna make it now. So, thanks, guys. Now we're getting into the top 4, and just so you guys know, these are all Disney/Pixar movies that I love, that I want sequels for these last top 4. So let's get into number 4, and that is a Big Hero 6 sequel. Big Hero 6 was my favorite Disney revival age movie. When I first saw that film, that was a huge surprise to me, being a huge fan of comic book movies mixed with Marvel. It felt like that in animated form, and these characters were so great. Hero, Baymax, and the whole Big Hero 6 team just fighting against evil with these awesome superhero vibes. It's such a great world, San Francisco, and it just felt like Iron Man mixed with the Incredibles and the Iron Giant into one. There is some hope, because there has been lots of talks of a sequel happening with Disney. They love the characters, would love to make a sequel, and Stan Lee as well possibly hinted at maybe them making a sequel as part of Marvel's plans. We'll see. Before we reveal my top 3 picks, guys, if you are new to this channel and you're enjoying this video so far, please smash that like button and consider clicking that subscribe button, as it really helps with the algorithm here on my channel. I do tons of movie reviews, reaction videos, Blu-ray videos, rankings like this. If you want to see more movie related content, I do this on a weekly basis, guys. So let's continue on with the list. At number 3 is Zootopia sequel. Zootopia, one of my favorite Disney revival age movies. That film was a lot better than I anticipated going in. A film about talking animals like foxes and bunnies and rhinos and hippos. Like, how could this work? But the film was so much more deeper than that. It talks a lot about drugs, racial stereotypes, in adult environments. Like, Zootopia is the perfect animated film for adults. Like, this movie's so good, it's so layered, and it introduced the world of Zootopia, just this whole world full of animals and predators and prey learning to live together. Like, there's so much they could do for a sequel. At number 2 is a Monsters, Inc. sequel. The first Monsters, Inc. is a Pixar classic, something I grew up loving watching when I was a kid. Mike and Sully as characters. I dressed up for both of them for Halloween multiple times. And years later, we got a prequel, Monsters University, which was not the best film ever. And I think there are passionate fans out there who would love to see a Monsters, Inc. sequel, and I am one of those fans. And I love just the world of Monsters, Inc., just the world of these monsters working for a corporation where they're making their dues by the screams of children. It's just such a great original concept. It just hasn't happened and probably won't happen because of this Disney Plus series. But a movie would have been so much better. Pixar themselves are pretty optimistic on a sequel idea, but they're more focused on original ideas for a few years. But hey, maybe later throughout the years a sequel could possibly happen, because I think this movie can work for a sequel. I mean, look at the end of Inside Out. You had Riley possibly going into her middle school years, possibly with this boy she possibly could have a crush on, or maybe high school as well. I think, look at that. There's so many ideas I think they could do for a sequel for Inside Out. Bring these emotions back, growing up in teenage years. They get a new board full of teenage words, curse words. There you have it, guys. Those are top 10 sequels I wish we got. Did I forget any? If I forgot any, maybe I didn't see those movies, or I just forgot them completely. I'm sure you guys got better sequel ideas. Throw them down below in the comment section. I got so many videos planned for you guys while being quarantined. Like this week, I am going to have a classic review out for Spirited Away this week, since I haven't seen it. And my first ever audio commentary is coming up this week. You will find out what that is. Another live Q&A as well. So many videos coming your guys' way. Thank you guys so much for watching. All my social media links are in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!